First, I want to talk about user experience in private wallets. The talk will be somewhat technical in the sense that I'm not going to be focusing on like mock-ups of a private wallet frontend, but rather talk about how it looks from the blockchain perspective. What is actually private, and what choices do we actually need to leave to the user. So like, as an introductory word, I strongly believe that in order to have the actual adoption of blockchain privacy, we cannot expose too many technical details to the user. Like the private wallet should mimic non-private wallets in the UX. I mean, users are already used to non-private wallets, so any complex technical decision that will be exposed to users will be a big obstacle when it comes to adoption. And I'm going to talk about exactly such obstacles. So first of all, this is what we call Shielder primitive in our team. So this is basically how privacy works. So this is roughly what outside observer can see on the blockchain. So there are some transfers between some actors, like Alice is sending some funds to Edgar, which in turn sends them over to Frank, and so on and so on. And there is this white rectangle. So what lies inside of this white rectangle are also transactions, which are kind of the same as transactions outside of a rectangle, with the difference that we're using a crypto magic to, well, conceal them. So I'm not going to go too much into details. We're on ZK Hub, so I assume everyone has some understanding of how this ZK-based privacy works. What's important for us, for the context of this talk, is how it looks from outside. So that some of the deposits are entering this crypto magic world, some are leaving, and whatever happens inside is obfuscated from the outside observers. And one more thing that you would like to be able to do is interactions with DeFi smart contracts. So perfectly would be if user of such a private wallet would be able to, for example, use a decentralized exchange or any other type of financial smart contract without ever leaving this land of privacy. So it would look like that. There is this magical private world and Bob residing inside of it. There is some smart contract, and then Bob would like to send some tokens and some additional data, for example, like type of the call that he's doing, and get some other tokens in return. So this can be a decentralized exchange. It can be, for example, liquidity provision. Then Bob would send some tokens and get some LP tokens in return, or any similar type of interaction. So first, there is a problem, because how this kind of privacy systems work is that Bob funds are residing actually in the smart contract, which operates the dark pool. So all the users have their funds in the same smart contract, and hence it's problematic for these DeFi contracts that assign ownership solely on the interacting address. So this is a bit technical bit, but for example, when it comes to lending protocols, when depositing tokens into the lending protocol, the protocol assigns the ownership of this token based on the interacting address. So if we don't want to lose this information, we actually need to use intermediary address between this privacy world and non-privacy world. So we need to send some tokens to intermediary account, and then only from this account, the public account, we can interact with smart contracts. So this are already two operations, and actually it's even a bit worse than that. The problem too is, this is a more ZK-related problem, that the smart contract interaction is usually unpredictable in the sense that at the moment of transaction creation, user does not have the full knowledge of the output. So this, for example, relates to front-running in decentralized exchanges. At the moment we're sending the transaction, we don't know how many tokens we'll get back in return. So that's why we cannot claim them back to this privacy world. Yeah, that's the next slide. So what actually needs to happen is this kind of interaction. From the privacy world to intermediary account, then to smart contract, then to intermediary account back, and only then we can go back to the privacy world, which in turn means that 3 transactions are needed to be done. So from the private world to the intermediary account, then to contract, then to intermediary account back, and then to private world back. So, well, I mean, we're talking about user experience, so that raises a natural question. Does user need to create 3 transactions instead of 1? So, well, yes, but a well-designed wallet should handle this automatically. So, like, in case there are no decisions to be made, and if every interaction pattern would look like that, this is relatively not so bad, because wallet could do it for users. So the wallet should create all the 3 transactions and sign all the 3 transactions, exposing only the fact of doing this single operation to the user. But unfortunately, it's not that simple. So how would that look like when it comes to like the general lifetime of a private account? We could use a single intermediary account on a given chain. Then every time user would like to interact with some smart contract, he would use the same intermediary account that is assigned to this particular user. This is, for example, how it works like now in Alio. So every time we leave the privacy world to the same intermediary account, do the smart contract interaction, and then come back to the privacy world. So well, what's unfortunate here is that all these interactions can be linked by any outside observer. So this is only illusion of privacy. If we do it like that, all the actions we ever do in DeFi can be linked together and can be linked to a single user. So, well, this is clearly bad. Seemingly better solution is doing it like that. So every time we do some interaction, we spawn a new intermediary account. So then every action is unlinkable to each other, which is great, but there is also, unfortunately, a bad case for this. So in case user wants to do something like that, first interact with smart contract A, then again interact with smart contract A, and do some related action in the second interaction, and then interact with smart contract B, this may pose some problems. So for example, if the first interaction with smart contract A was depositing some funds, and the second interaction, user was aiming to claim some rewards, this may be not possible. I mean, these rewards can be assigned to intermediary account A. So the wallet needs to somehow predict that. Wallet needs to predict what kind of action user is doing, which is very unfortunate because that means that we need to expose some kind of a decision to the user. It seems that the wallet cannot just assume what intermediary account needs to be used because the wallet does not know whether the user will be doing the action which is related to any of the previous actions or the action which is unrelated and hence should be unlinkable. So how it actually looks like, so it should be like that, where we are using the same intermediary account for 2 interactions with smart contract A and another intermediary account for interaction with smart contract B. And of course, like this is only in the scenario where 2 interactions with smart contract A are related. It could very much happen so that the user wanted to make 2 interactions with smart contract A which are unlinkable. And there is no other way of telling that like other than just asking user for the choice. So how the final flow should actually look like is something like this. So user opens some application. Then this is the question, is it the first time user is opening this particular dApp? This is the question which does not need to be asked to a user. The wallet can just remember that. So if the answer is yes, this is the first time the user is using this particular app, then, well, it's clear that the fresh intermediary address can be created because like there is no previous interaction to which it would be possible to refer to. But if it's not the first time, then we need to expose a choice to the user. So we need to ask the user whether the user would like to create a fresh address and hence enter a fresh interaction without any history, or maybe use one of the old addresses and use some history. So for example, claim the rewards from previous investment or doing similar action. And only after exposing this choice, the user can choose and the interaction can happen. So, well, this is I see this general concept as one of the obstacles when it comes to the user experience of privacy wallets, because like this means that inherently there is some inherent complexity where they cannot offer the same simple experience as regular MetaMask. So thank you for this opportunity of sharing this thought.